thing, just ask them in the question area box there, and then we'll answer them at the end. So the recording will be shared for those that did sign up, but for one reason or another were not able to attend. So we'll get that recording to you, and you can watch this also at another time. For those that are already here now, you can watch this again later. So the training outline for today we'll be looking at is how to create a group within Church360 Unite. And then we will be looking at the settings of the group. How do you add members to a group? How do you create events inside your group? How do you add new pages to a group? And then we'll have, of course, time at the end for some questions and answers. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn off the camera here so that we can get a full screen of Church360 Unite, and then we'll get fully started and take a look at everything. All right, so currently we should see the Church360 Unite, and this is just a demonstration site here for Church360 Unite. So we're going to log in here into our website, and we'll do that by clicking on Sign In. All right, so now that I'm signed in here, and again, my sign in and login will give me access to the administrative tools here across the very top of the page. So as I have those viewed here, one of the things as we get into this, I'm going to click on pages in just a moment, but I do want to go over a little bit of the navigation here. So the things that we're seeing in part of our navigation menu, the home, I'm new, about us, connect, serve, these are what we call categories. Underneath them, when you're scrolling over the top of them, are what we call pages. So that's important to keep in mind as we get up here into our administrative areas called pages, because then we'll remember here that these are categories, I'm new, about us, connect, and the drop down underneath them that we can navigate to and click on, those are going to be pages. So let's go ahead and click up to pages here in our administrative menu. And based upon if you're an administrator, you'll have full access to all of these. And if you're another type of user, maybe a publisher, you might have just a few of these showing. Again, we did have other webinars that talk more about that permission and roles status, which you can watch also on another webinar. We'll click on pages. And as we look at this page here that's viewing in front of us, the active menu items on the left-hand side of the screen, we'll see some of the menu items. So again, as we see here, the home, I'm new, about us, again, those are the categories, and what's indented from them are what we call pages. Now that's where we're going to start here. We're going to go up and we're going to go to the right-hand corner of this pages area to these two icons here. Now again, that's an add a category icon, which we're not going to do, but we are going to click on this add a page because this is the place in which we're going to add a group. So I'm going to click on this icon, add a page, and on this particular window we'll see how you can add either a blank page, you can add a feed page, or underneath here at the bottom you'll be able to click on one of these preset pages, and or you can click on this icon here that has multiple people on them, and that is our groups page. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to click on this. It's highlighted now. You'll see over here to the right it shows us that we've clicked on it, group. You can use this to add a new group, and we're going to go down here at the bottom and click on create page. So when we click on create page on this one, now we're in an area where it's highlighted here, and this is where I can name my group that I'm adding. So I'm going to add in here our youth group. And then I'm going to save my changes. So we have a youth ministry here that we've added this group, and then in the youth ministry, you'll see underneath there is like kind of like a page extension. These are also what's known as like a slug, but this is how you're going to navigate into this group, because now it's not an available, it's not an active menu item. In other words, you can't navigate to it from the website itself as it is, but we can, as an administrator, navigate to this new group that we've just created here, and then this is where we can begin to build information in it. So later on, we might be able to put that into an active menu item if we wish, or we'll show you how you can link to this page and this particular group. So we'll click on this youth ministry link there. Now, as we're in the youth ministry link, it takes us to our youth group now that we've created, our youth ministry group. Notice to the right here, we'll see that there are different options here that are already built in. These are different pages that are built in. So we have something called discussion, events, members, this edit this group option, which is available for your administrators of the group, and membership settings. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take us down to edit this group. So now as I go into this edit this group, the first thing that we're going to do is we'll leave the title, because it is a youth ministry, and that's exactly what this group is entitled. And I'm going to add a description. Now the description for this is going to be, we'll just go ahead and add this in here, and I'm just going to drop this in here, something that we've already created. So that's going to be a description of our youth ministry. Now immediately underneath the description, and again this will be seen in a couple different areas, it can be at least seen in a couple different areas when linking to a group or getting even to the home page. Now underneath here, under the description, when we page down a little bit further, you'll see where it says pages. Now in a group you can have up to 3 pages that you'd like to create inside this group. Now these pages can be absolutely whatever you want to entitle them. So for me, I'm going to have a new page that I'm going to create, and I'm going to entitle that Documents, because these are going to be documents that are important for the youth ministry. And I'm going to click Add Page. I could also add Photos or Photo Page. I'll just put Photos. And then I'm going to add that page. So now I've got both of these showing. And in order for me to also have them showing over here on the far right to navigate to, I'm going to want to put a check mark in them. Notice that when I do, that my Documents and my Photos pages are actually showing up over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and update the group. Okay, now I'm going to go back again to this edit this group. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down underneath the pages. Again, keep in mind that I can add another page, and I can do that later on if I'd like to. But I can only have 3 active at any given time. So the group details are visible to is the next section. Now this is important for each and every page that you have inside this group. And of course our group here is called Youth Ministry. What this will do is allow you to be able to change the permission, really, or actually the ability of what's going to be seen in this group and what won't be seen, and to whom are these pages going to be seen. So it's really kind of like the privacy level of each and every page within your group. Notice that on the far right hand side it says who can view this? Well, everyone, public, can view this page. Well, for the home page, I might just keep that wide open so anyone on the web can view this page if I make this group to be public in any way. So I'll go ahead and change that to make my home page to be public. The other ones here, the discussions, Now, I can let anyone who can log into the site be able to view this, but for my discussions, I'm going to allow only those who are group members to be able to view that. And I can also put in here, well, and you know what? Let me go ahead and just make another thing here. And I'm just going to add in group leaders and a new page. And I'm going to add that page in there. Again, I'm going to update this. I'm going to go back to edit this group. And now you can see down here again, group leaders are available too, and it has that new page that I have here called group leaders. So my events, who do I want my events to be open for? Well, I could let anyone that goes into the youth ministry be able to see my Unite events for my youth ministry. So maybe I'll let all Unite users. The documents, I might say only group members can view my documents. Now the group leader page, that's only available for leaders. So I'm going to slide that over here and say this group leaders page is only available for group leaders. My photos page are just for my group members only to be able to see. And the members page where it will list who my members are, that's again only available for my group members to see. So that's how I want to set up my group here. And then the last section here on editing your group is who can join this group? Who do you want to give access to? Well, this is available so that you can say only people I've invited or anyone who logs into the site. So again, this group as it is only going to be available for those who have logged in, or you can make it so that only the people I've invited. And I'm going to choose that just for this, for today's webinar. And I'm going to choose only people I've invited, and I'm going to update my group. Okay, so we've looked at the edit this group. The next thing that we're going to do is go back here to our home page, and I'm going to edit this home page so that we can add some content and have it displayed here. So how I need to do this, and again, this page here, if you notice to the far right hand side, it has a draft page, a stamp on it. So we need to go ahead and edit that. So on our far left, we can click on the edit page. Notice that it pops out a little window over here on the left-hand side. My status of this page is, again, still in draft stage, but I'm going to be able to edit this. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to, again, I'm going to add in my description. And so I'm going to put this in here and put this as my description, and then after that, and I think I might bring that down just a little bit and make that a little bit smaller. So like that. That's a good size for me. And then I'm going to keep it this way, and then what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to go ahead and add in a picture. Now this is our WYSIWYG editor, which is just an acrostic that stands for what you see is what you get. Many of us are used to this as far as a lot of things are common, and even in Microsoft Word. I'll go over just a few things here. You can click on, this is linking things as far as like maybe you can link to a document. You can hyperlink to another website. So another URL, another website, put in the URL there and say, hey, I want this to open up in a new window. You can do a file that users can download. So this is when you're going to upload a document or an email address. So again, that's this chain link here. What I'm going to do is add a picture in here. So I'm going to click on the image and then click upload. And that's going to open up where I have my pictures, and I'm going to click on the picture that I want to bring in. So that's my picture, and I've got that in there, and I'm going to click on OK. So now I've got my picture in here. It says to me, you have unsaved changes. So that reminds me that I need to save this page if I want to save everything that I've done so far on this page. Now, just even before we leave, I'm just going to go up here again and show you two other icons here, and that is the audio icon if you wanted to bring in an audio file or a video file, or you can maybe embed media. So for example, you wanted to maybe bring in and embed a YouTube video onto your page. You could do something like that and click on this embed media. Very easy to use. So I'm going to click on save. So now it's saved my changes. And I think I'll go ahead and publish this page. Now it's in the draft status, but I'll go ahead and publish it. So I'm going to click on this and then select published and then save this. Close the edit the page area, and now you see the dotted lines around this is gone. So I have my home page for my youth ministry. So let's continue here and going down from our home page here of youth ministry to the discussion area. Now in the discussion there are three parts to our discussion area that you can use. There's an actual discussion, there's prayer requests as you'll see here, and announcements. So I'm going to just show you the difference, or at least add in an example for each one. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add in a discussion. So I'm going to add in, what are the topics that you would like to study? And I'm going to post that. Now let's add in a prayer request. So it's, again, everything is very similar, each one. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the prayer request. So I'm going to add that in. Please pray for all students with tests this week, and post that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an announcement. Now the announcement could be for anything, and I'm going to make an announcement for maybe an upcoming event, just another way to reach out to people. So this is going to be for our fall hayride, which is Saturday, and that's September 30th. So I'm going to post that. So here you can see down below that there are different colors for each different type of discussion that's brought in here. Now for me, and I've logged in today as Kent Williams, you can see actually the picture there that's showing for Kent Williams, but it will have on here the different color codes to say whether this is an announcement, prayer request, or discussion. To the right of that, it'll have three things. Now that's for me because I'm the one that actually entered these three items into the discussion area. So I can see that I can either edit, delete, or I can reply. Now others, when they come in here that are members of the group, they'll be able to reply, but they will not be able to click delete or edit that particular first entry on an announcement, prayer request, or discussion. But I do have the ability to edit my own comment or delete my own comment if I needed to. All right, so that's the discussion area. Again, these two things down here, the documents, group leaders, and photos, I'm sorry, three things, are blank pages that I can add content into. So if I wanted to go into my documents area, again, I can begin to edit that page by coming over here and then just adding different things. So once I've clicked into this dotted line area, again, that's where my editor then appears, and I can begin to bring in documents just by clicking on this, going to add in a file that users can download, and then clicking upload and bringing in those particular document files. So I hope that's easy for you to be able to see that. Again, you do, once you are on a page, you do have different layouts in which you can lay out the page. Sometimes some other ones make more sense to be able to add, and you have different other options as far as the layout of your page. So I'll just keep it as that. And then I'll click on the edit the page. So I'm done with that. So let's go on to our members. So this is an area then for your group leaders to come in here and be able to see how can you add a new member into this group. Well, you do this by beginning to select people that you want to add in as members. So I'm going to add in a few people here. Sue Abbott, and I'm going to add her as a member. And notice that she immediately appears up there. And then I'm going to click on Tiffany Cook, and I'm going to add her as a member. And then Pam Fernandez, I'm going to add her in. Again, these are people that are already in my database, so I can add them in. And the last person I'm going to do, and this is the person I'm going to invite instead of just immediately make a member of the group. And so I'm going to bring in Troy. And I'm going to click on his name there, and I'm going to invite him. So you'll notice that for him, it has the parentheses and it's invited. So it immediately sends him the email, and it invites him to be a part of this particular group. And he can accept that request. So again, if we had people that we had this open for other people to join, then they could say, hey, I'd like to become a member of your group. And when they do request to become a member of the group, then you can grant it here. So right now, of course, there is no one that's requested that, but there could be. And at that point in time, I can then grant them access to being a member of the group. All right. Then the other things that you will be able to do is you'll be able to email out people of the group. So you can either just select a couple, or you could select all of them. Now, when you select all of them, you can click on this email all, and it will open up whatever your default email client is on the device that you've come into the website. And it's going to open that up, and it's going to be able to send an email out to each and every person that you've selected, or all of them if you've selected all. And it uses an email relay to be able to send that to every single one person that you've selected, but it sends it independently from each other. So they do not see all the other names or email addresses. It keeps all of those secure and private from one another, and yet you're sending out just one email, and that's sent out from your own personal email. So it's going to open that up from the device that you're currently logged in as, whatever your default email client is. Now, the other thing that you can do, let's say that I wanted to also make Sue a group leader. Well, if I select on her name, and I can click on change role, and I can promote her to a leader. So now she has group leader status, which she'll be able to now add different content, email others out, and things like that. If you're just a member of the group, you cannot email out other people of the group. But if you're a group leader, you do have access to be able to do that, and you do have access to be able to add content into the different pages of this particular group. Being a group leader does not mean you are a main administrator of the whole website, only an administrator of this particular group. So now we're going to go into our area where we have our calendar. So that's in our events. And so we'll click on events. And now what we have three different ways in which we can add an event. We can click on the new event here underneath the events on the far right. We can click on the new event underneath the calendar, or we can merely click on the day. Whichever you'd like to do, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the day. I'm going to add a title in here called I'm just going to call it Wednesday Night Youth. And so this event will be available for the users, and that's the people that are members of this particular group. So we're going to put this in the youth room. So we're just going to entitle that the youth room. and then we can say this event repeats. So you can just have it a one-time event, or you can have it a repeating event. And I might make this 8 o'clock. So instead of that, I could put 8, and then we can add in any other description that we might want to add in here. So if I want to add that in here, I can do so, and I can make this a recurring event if I'd like to say this does repeat. Notice that this pops out now, my schedule, and I can say this is every single week. And then let's just say that it's just every single week. Now, if I want to invite people to this event, I can. So I can click on this, and now I can send my invitations out. So I'll get an immediate notification when I do this, but in addition to immediately this going out to people, I can also send out a reminder. So maybe one day before this event, they're going to get that reminder about this event. And then I'll click Create Event. So that's going to put it on my calendar as a recurring event. You can see when I put my cursor over the top of it exactly what all the content of that group is and the description of that. Again, this is information that's being sent out to each and every one of them, and they'll get that invitation or that invitation to this event that they're going to come. So again, you can send those invites, or you can also send reminders. So then we'll see this on the calendar for each and every Wednesday, because that's the way that we've put it in here. All right, so now we've taken a look at all the members area. Again, that's the page that we were on before. And the last thing that we could do is to click on membership settings. Now, the membership settings is an area where a member can click on, and then they'll be able to choose whether they want to how much information that they want to receive from the leaders. So they'll be able to say, hey, send me an email when members of my group post any comment. Send me an email only when a leader makes an announcement, or don't send me any email notifications for this group. So they can choose their membership settings here. They can also choose to leave the group if they wish to. So there's different things that they do. So if you make a change here, you just update your group membership as a member of that group. All right, so the other thing that we can do, and I want to show you today, is we know that we have events every Wednesday. If we go to the master calendar of the whole entire church, will we see the youth event on the master calendar? If I click on the calendar here, and it takes me to our master calendar, which is loading here in just a moment. We'll see that we do have our Wednesday night youth group showing there. If you don't want that Wednesday night youth group showing there, and you don't want that shared on your master calendar, which you don't have to have that shared at all, you could come up here to your settings, and you can click on calendars. Then you can go down to the youth group, and you can youth ministry, and you can change this to say whatever you wish for that to be showing. So those are some things that you can do in regards to the settings area for your calendars and what is actually showing. So you have control over what's going to be showing on your master calendar and what's not going to be showing on that calendar. So now I'm going to pause for just a moment and see if anyone has any questions today. And I'm going to bring up, kind of just go back here to our we're going to go back to the what we saw before. So I do want to show you that if you do get an invitation to an event, it's going to look something like this on the right-hand side. So if you send out that invitation, it's going to send them an invitation, tell them about the event, if it's reoccurring, and then it gives them the option that they can click on to say, yes, I'm going, or I'm a maybe, or I'm not going. So there's different things that they can choose here on that, and I just want to show you an example of that. So again, I don't see any questions right now that have been asked, so I hope that we've covered and answered all of your questions here. I will make note here of the Church360 Unite blog. The blog gives you updates to any information, any changes, or things that are great to know about Church360 Unite. So you do want to sign up. That is free. Just go to 360unite.com/blog. And again, now on my screen here, I have listed my contact information. But again, those that have Church360 Unite, you're going to want to make note of the bottom portion of that, and that is where it says the software support. So this is a software support email, support@cts.cph.org, and then the phone number is 800-346-6120. Again, I thank you for attending today's Church360 Unite webinar on groups, and hope that you've learned something new today. Again, thanks again for attending, and have a wonderful day.